Hi there, welcome back to the Lifestyle Show with me, Pam Joseph. Okay, the impact of the death of George Floyd in the States last month is really crossed over the Atlantic into the United Kingdom. There have been marches, there have been protests, there have been the taking down of undesirable statues, there have been political debates and discussions, magnifying race relations right here in the UK. I told you how to get in touch with us, and I hope that you're going to do that. Let me introduce the panel. Today's rather a creative panel this week. So we've got music and event promotions and management, Orlando Gittens. Orlando, at least I got you. Hello, darling.
Yeah, you got me.
At least I got you. and we also have a music producer and creator of the record label Ariwa Sounds, Neil Fraser, aka the Mad Professor. Hello. And can I say to both, Happy Father's Day?
Thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully, we're waiting. We'll hope Simone can join us when she gets on. Simone Pennant. We hope she'll join us when she gets on. Let's just really start to kick off on this as well. I spoke about the fact that we have moved it across in the BLM movement has come across to our shores here. On this little island. But anyway, it's huge because, race relations in the UK has always been huge. I want to look at all of your prospective, positions coming from, I said it's creative, it's also entertaining as well. So you've asked for things, each of you individually, in what you're doing. You want to change. You've always been seeking changes. I want to know what sort of advantage you all are taking on as we deal with the Black Lives Movement in the UK. How are you dealing with that? I prefer, maybe I would have started with Orlando, you're known to the lifestyle. You've always done a lot and you're very passionate about things to say. Talk to me now, in this climate, how's it going to help you? How's it going to help you to move and push things along?
We've got a really bad line, but hopefully you can hear me.
Okay.
You can hear me, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. The most important thing for me really is that if we can get a level playing field. I don't want to be treated any different to anybody else. I don't want special advantages. I don't want people to make special dispensations for me. I just want to be treated exactly the same as everyone else. When I go for a venue, I'm a promoter. Oops, see Daisy.
Collapsible.
It's over. There you go.
Yeah.
I'm a promoter, so obviously venues are very, very important to me. Where I do my events is very, very important.
Yeah.
If somebody decides that they don't want to give me the venue because of the color of my skin, that obviously puts me at a distinct disadvantage to anybody else who's going for the same venue. Yeah. By the same token, if I get charged more, or if I have different restrictions put on me because I'm black or my audience might be black, that puts me at a distinct disadvantage. I just want to have a level playing field so we're all treated exactly the same.
Yeah. And how are you going to push this? How can you take advantage? If I'm saying that, and I may be coarse in saying that, but I'm just talking plain.
Yeah.
How can you take advantage now of what's going on to push, the level playing field as you say you want? How can you do that? How would you do this?
At the moment, because it's politically incorrect to say that Black lives don't matter, and it's politically incorrect to be seen to be openly putting some at a disadvantage because they are black. Anything I push for at the moment is going to be treated with kid gloves. At the moment, I'm like a protected species. As a black person now, you speak to anybody who's white about anything to do with anything now, and they're on the back foot straight away. So I can put in a bid for a venue right now, and I know that whatever happens, they're definitely not going to give the impression that they're not putting me in the framework because I'm black. However, my problem is if it doesn't last for longer than a fashion period, then we'll go back to where we was before.
Yeah, and let's bring you in now. You've always, I've got to say, Neil, you've always fought to try to have more sort of a reggae, Caribbean music across the ways, across, the wider spectrum, not just having the black reggae, but across the ways. And can you now take advantage yourself? We're trying to push to get you know, more Caribbean music being played out there, or perhaps trying to look for another Choice FM?
Well, there's several things that we're looking at, and I think the climate is now the right time. The problem largely we have is the legacy that the BBC and the broadcasting authorities have when it comes to Black music and Black people. You know, they love to install like white gatekeepers, so to speak, right? So you always have, like, if you have a program in, like say reggae program, or even a cultural music program.
Neil, push your camera back a bit. We're only getting you from here. Yeah, that's
Okay.
it. There we are. I like to see
Yeah.
the whole of your beautiful face, sir. Yeah.
Yes. These programs, it's like we're still on the plantation. You know, it's like we got to have some white seal of approval. Now, if the level field was, if the playing field was level, that would be fine. But we've only just recovered from slavery, for one, and two, there's the next problem. Anytime there is issues within the Black community, whether it is guys in Tottenham stabbing each other, schoolboys, you know, the white people them in charge of the media, so to speak, they don't feel the same sentiments as us. They cannot relate to it. So, you know, I think the BBC in particular have to start employing people from the community to do certain jobs, you know, and they have to get away from this filtering, you know. Yeah. That is totally wrong. Yeah. You might ask, what do I intend to do about it? Well, you know, I've written, I mean, like even last week, I had an article on Facebook and Instagram, and the response we had, you know, was amazing. Hundreds and hundreds of people, not just in the UK, people in France, people even in Australia, agreed with me when I wrote this article, which was basically saying, why is the reggae and the music industry so silent about supporting the whole racial awareness and the whole like systematic racism that is emerging now around the world. You know, the response has been amazing, because the reggae industry in particular has been very, very quiet, considering we coming from Bob Marley and Peter Tosh and all these guys. We've been too quiet, you know. Yeah. So people have responded, and it transpires that a lot of people are afraid of becoming like victims. They're afraid that producers are afraid that if they speak out, then maybe the records wouldn't be played. Yeah. You know, artists think, well, if I speak out, maybe promoters wouldn't book me. Okay. You know? Yeah. And like I say, there are parallels to this and the plantation situation, which makes you think, how much have we moved on since 1840, when slavery was abolished? How much have we actually become independent people?
I hear you. So let's quickly go to because you know they're just flooding in. Annabelle from Shoreditch asks, what influences can be made in helping to change the white-faced view of presenters, newsreaders, and commentators were always subjected to on the TV?
Well,
I wish Simone she'd probably come out with something. Go on, who wants to answer that?
Well, I'll give him my bit first. on March the 1st, on August the 1st, rather, Emancipation Day, there's a big meeting at Windrush Square in Brixton, right? And both that day and 2 days afterwards, we are going to have an assembly at the BBC, right? With some attention being drawn to the BBC and to the radio authorities, right? Because they have got to know, like anything else, if they don't know, they don't know. And some of these people, they live in a bubble. They live in a bubble far away from the Black community and far away from the needs of the community. And there are those within the community who really and truly don't want to rock their boats, you know. They might be on their, whether 50,000 or 100,000 a year. Yeah, and they're cool. Hey, keep the peace. No, everything is all right, you know.
Yeah.
Shh, don't rock the boat.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, or fortunately, because I earn my money from Ariwa songs, you know. So a long time I stopped worrying about whether they want to play my records or not. We don't have a huge market, but we've got a market enough to keep me in business,
Yes.
you know. So I could talk. I could open my big mouth anytime. And I could call names. I'm not going to call names to slander anybody, but I will call names to make people aware, look, what you're doing is wrong. Stop it, you know?
Yeah, excellent. Come on, Orlando. What would you have to say now?
Okay, cool. There's a reality to the situation. We do live in England. We are the minority here. I don't expect to switch on the television and see, 100% black presenters. If you want to know the truth, I wouldn't even expect to see 50% black presenters, unless it's a specialist platform such as this, which is our own. And I actually think that's probably what the future is. I think that we'll always have somebody on television. But sometimes we might have one or two more than we expect, but it hasn't been no difference when I was growing up. But if I was living in Africa, for argument's sake, and I switched on the television and 90% of the people were white, I'd be horrified.
Yeah.
So I think there's a reality to the situation as to what we get over here. Yeah. However, going back to my earlier point, I still feel that we should be judged on ability and not color. And if we're judged on ability, then we'd have more representation. And maybe what we need to do is impose stricter penalties for people who break the law in regards to racial discrimination. I think the laws covering racial discrimination is absolutely atrocious. For argument's sake, if somebody's found guilty of racial discrimination, you've got 6 months to file a case. Whereas with any other breach of contract, whatever, you've got 5 years. It's expensive to take someone to court for racial discrimination. I'm in the middle of it myself. I've done over £25,000 so far on a racial discrimination case that started 3 years ago because some venue owners decided that they never wanted me or other people who were black to use their venue.
We heard about that. We heard about that. Well, we got to sort of like trying to get most of these questions answered because these viewers have made the time to do this. Christopher from Huddeston asks, once the pandemic has died down, what does the panel think the future holds for the type of concerts, dances, and events within our community?
Well, I've got a big concert planned for October, which, to be honest with you, I'm 75% sure now it's going to be postponed to next year. The real problem that we've got with large cases, with large events, is obviously social distancing. Let's say if you've got a venue that holds 3,000 people, as it stands at the moment, they can all sit next to each other or stand next to each other. With social distancing restrictions in place, then obviously it's cutting down the capacity by sometimes 2/3. So it doesn't make it financially viable to hold those concerts. So I would say that next year will be the earliest we get back to any kind of semblance of normality. Yeah. But I know people are looking forward to next year. I also believe that the government have now decided to put the economy before the welfare of the people, the safety of the people, because obviously if people aren't working and there's no money being generated, you're heading towards a bankrupt state. And they're not going to let that happen.
Yeah, nice one, Orlando. Orlando, sit up a bit straighter for me because you're kind of like half of your face is gone. Yeah, that's better. We want to see all your handsome features, sir. So let's see you there. Now, Tony from asks, he says, my question's directly to the Mad Professor. I'm trying to break through into the music business. I'm 15 years old and an up-and-coming singer, a rapper, but I'm not sure where to go and what to do.
Well, first thing I'd say is to learn an instrument. See what you fancy, see what you're naturally good at. That's the first thing. Make some demos and then send it into record companies like ours, you know, and hopefully someone would notice you, you know. But you need to first start to really put yourself at an advantage over others. Start to play an instrument. After that, start to read about other artists in other periods, you know. Read about like Michael Jackson, read some biographies and see how different people have different stories, you know. And you could identify, because some of the problems that existed 40 years ago are still problems now. So at least by reading about this, you would be very equipped in what you have to deal with, you know. Obviously, the problems relating to race and race relations, we are tackling that now. So hopefully this wouldn't be so much of a problem, but it's still a problem at this moment in time, you know. I mean, only yesterday I heard an article from Alexander Burke, and she was talking how some promoter wanted her to lighten her skin to appear more palatable to the audiences. So things like that, you know, we're really trying hard to break down, you know, and this is the reason why why we need our people in the music business when it comes to Black music to be able to defend and to be able to support what the artists then feel, you know. We don't want someone there who would tell you, oh, are you sure? You know, this don't happen. Simply because it doesn't happen to them. But it's been happening from day one, you know.
Okay, all right. Well, we're going to do now, we're going to get more people to send us through pieces. They'll come through, but we're just going about slightly different. So we're going for a break now. All right,
Okay,
cool.
good.
All right.